way he said it, but that's Donald Trump. He says it like it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
It's true. He doesn't like the way Donald Trump said it, but that's a lot of people don't like the way Donald Trump says things. He's blunt.
Yeah.
He's almost rude by today's politically correct standards, right? In the old days, you would have said he's just forthright. He's very blunt, right? But now he's a racist. Let's take Tom back. Tom wanted to talk about inner city issues. Tom, welcome back.
Thanks. As far as Trump, going after Elijah Cummings, as far as Baltimore goes or the other big cities, I think Elijah Cummings was, bad-mouthing Trump a lot. But as far as the cities being failed because they're run by liberals, it's kind of but are they liberal because they're failed? I've been around Detroit, my whole life, and we used to have automobile industry here. I remember, I was working as a vendor to the automotive and back in the 60s and 70s, and we were kings of the world and could do no wrong. And Detroit made a lot of junk too. A lot of I got an old 71 van sitting in my backyard that, it's about, it's just such a cheap piece of junk. I don't even know why I still keep it. But,
sentimental value.
The point is, I remember when, Japan started really competing against, our U.S. automotive and in particular the Motor City, and it's kind of like an old ghost town out west. Once the gold is gone, the people just start leaving, and there's ghost towns where the buildings are all there, but all the people are gone because they can't make money. They have to have money to buy the things they need to live.
Yeah. That's kind of what that speaks to economies, right? The big three let their guard down. They got sloppy. The unions got sloppy. Everybody took it for granted. They were making big money. They were drinking on job, you hear the old stories about found a beer bottle in my door. When I took the door panel off, there was a beer bottle in there. That's what happened. Today, the big three is turning out quality product, and I think it competes very well with Germany and Japan by any stretch of the imagination. And it's because they brought it back.
Now, but back then, Japan their motors had, the overhead camshaft, dual overhead cams, and things like that. And Detroit was just old flathead, 6 cylinders that got 13 miles to the gallon. And then the cheap labor in Japan, they didn't have the regulations and things like that. Yeah. That was that was hard to compete with.
Well, I look at Detroit now as it seems to me, even to me, and I don't go down very, very often downtown. Detroit is, I think, one of the fewer big liberal cities that's kind of making a turnaround finally. And I think it's because they're getting away from that progressive mentality and they're getting back more into capitalism a little bit. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but but I don't think we're ever going to get that market share back from the automotive and and high tech manufacturing. Like we had that advantage ever since World War II, and up until I guess around the 60s and 70s. When I'd say the early 70s, late 60s, when Japan started really becoming competitive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great comments, Tom. I appreciate the call as always. And we'll hopefully talk to you again in the coming weeks.
Okay, have a good day. Bye.
Thanks, you too.
Cummings is a nasty piece of work anyhow. He took on the DHS
and he was rude.
Administrator. He's totally rude, blasting him, blaming him for, come on, he sounded like Joe Biden. Come on, man. He said that. Attacking him for the conditions that basically are caused by the Democrats not funding stuff properly or not passing laws to accommodate things better or to speed things along. So we have people in detention centers because of Democrat policies. That's not a racist comment or anything. And then this guy sits there and he blasts the DHS head for conditions that are caused by his own party.
Yes. And let's all be honest. If you had a 40-foot concrete barrier running the full length of the United States and Mexico, 40 foot, 50 foot, I don't care, whatever.
With dogs running between them.
If you had the border there, nobody would be able to cross without putting up a sky lift or something else to get across, right?
If you change the stinking law so it's not this Mother May I, when you get here, you say the magic words and now you get released into the country. Oh, don't forget to come back for your court appointment in 3 years.
Yes, and you never see him again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is
That's
a Democrats problem.
Yes.
It should have been, and it's Republicans too, because you know what? When Reagan did the first amnesty, we should have taken care of it then. Secure the border and solve the asylum issue.
But the ball's in their court now.
Absolutely. It's Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in the House who can fix this.
And the real crisis popped up under the Democrat reign of terror in Congress right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the Democrat debate this week. Did you watch it?
Why would I waste my time? Seriously. I watched the clips. I mean, heck, it was a series of 5-minute clips anyhow.
Right.
There's no serious debate.
Right.
I want to see what Moonbeam Williamson had to say again.
She's classic, man.
What was really good was Tulsi Gabbard going after Kamala Harris.
Yes, and
it's not like I haven't seen it. It's just I wasn't going to watch it.
I listened to the first one driving home from a baseball game, my son's a baseball game. And then I saw a few minutes of the second one, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to aggravate myself. I'm going to try and relax, and I'll just, like you, I'll catch the snippets afterward.
And then be aggravated.
Exactly. But one of the ones I did catch was Cory Booker, and I brought my blood pressure up right on the spot. And it was about him saying the Russians and the Republicans are all out for voter suppression of black people in Michigan, and that's why Donald Trump won Michigan. And of all the things, WAPO, the Washington Post, liberal newspaper, gave old Cory Booker 4 Pinocchios. Yeah. Mr. Lying Booker.
Everybody knows that in Wayne County, black vote is far outside of its populace. So voters in Detroit have 3 times the voting power representative of their populace because, 3 times as many people vote than actually vote.
Yeah, and if you read the WAPO article, they'll tell you black voter turnout for 2018 and 2016 was a little less than 2012 and 2008. Why? Because Barack Obama was not on the ticket. An African-American, first African-American president on the ticket, of course you're going to get a few more African-American people say, boy, I'm going to give him a shot. And they come out and they voted for him. Well, a lot of times they're not going to care. I mean, it's something that you would identify with, right? It's the first black president. Of course, you're going to get a little better turnout from the black community. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? That's just common sense.
But he got the white vote too. He got a lot of votes of people who thought, let's give him a chance because they didn't do the research.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people who don't do the research and they say, hey, he's the black guy. Let's give him a chance. Well, there's your reparations for you.
Yeah, he got a lot of white support. So anybody that says we're a bigoted country,
you don't get elected president without a lot of white support. It ain't happening,
That's right. So we are not a bigoted country on the whole. There's just no way. But I want you to listen to Cory Booker. Here we got. That's track 4. Do we have it ready?
To?
Let's hear him. You'll love it.
This is one of those times where we're not staring at the truth and calling it out. And this is a case for the Democratic Party. The truth will set us free. We lost the state of Michigan because everybody from Republicans to Russians were targeting the suppression of African-American voters. We need to say that. If the African-American vote in this state had been like it was 4 years earlier, we would have won the state of Michigan. We need to have a campaign that is ready for what's coming. An all-out assault, especially on the most valuable voter group in the highest performing voter group in our coalition, which is black women. And so I will be a person that tries to fight against voter suppression, that can activate and engage the kind of voters and coalitions that are going to win states like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
No. Voter suppression, there were 300 votes in every box that only had 100 votes in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not voter suppression.
It's not voter suppression.
Yeah. In this state, I won't vouch for other states. I'll vote for because I've always been asked for ID when I go to vote.
Yeah, same here.
I always willingly give it. Mm-hmm. This last time I was going to say I didn't have it just to see what they would do and run me through the process and blah blah blah. Then I could see, all right, you can vote in the state even without ID. There is no excuse. There is no voter suppression. I defy anybody to find me a poll in the state of Michigan where somebody was saying, like, remember in Philadelphia when the Black Panthers were out front with clubs and stuff, intimidating people, and if you were white, they were intimidating. I defy you to find any precinct in the state of Michigan where there's somebody out front trying to intimidate anybody of color from voting. So, Mr. Booker, you are a liar. Your WAPO, your newspaper calls you a liar because you are. There was no intimidating voter suppression by Republicans or the Russians because Barack Obama came right out and said the Russians changed nothing. Not a vote in the country was changed because Russians had access to a voting machine. They did not.
That's not to say they didn't try.
Exactly.
That's not to say they didn't spend $4,000 on Facebook ads.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? $4,000. How about the $250 million Saudi Arabia gave to Hillary Clinton's campaign?
Yep.
You want to talk about influence? That's influence.
Yep.
The Democrats had tons of money from overseas to spend on advertising, including Facebook and Twitter and everything else. So don't talk to me about the lousy $250,000 in Russian spending.
And it doesn't necessarily go to the campaign because there's limits, but it goes to the PACs. You know, and the PACs have unlimited funding.
Yeah, I just the one thing that here, let's take a call from Gary in Hazel Park. Let me get my blood pressure down a little bit here. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, gentlemen. You know, it's just outright infuriating that the Democrats in general can say anything they want to say, and hear the people in the background cheer them on like it has any real relevance or any truth to it. Like they're still talking about weapons of mass destruction in Iran. And there were, by the way, weapons of mass destruction.
Yes, it was the chemicals and stuff.
Right.
That's a weapon of mass destruction.
Stuff that got snuck off to Syria.
That's what always aggravates me, Gary. People say there were no WMDs in Iraq. Yes, there were. They just weren't nuclear WMDs.
Absolutely. And we've been in there for 2 decades now, and we've found many, many more since the people, us, have been paying attention. But really what I want to know is why isn't the United Nations demanding that Honduras take refugees from Baltimore?
Thank you. You calmed his blood pressure right
you
down.
Are
Thank you.
You are the mastermind of that sort of thing, Gary. Good job. Exactly.
Wait, you think they should take all those rats?
Well, sure, they'll get their own rat
if you're hungry
population
enough
under control because our rats are bigger.
Yeah,
Did you see the meme? Did you see the meme with the two rats driving in a car and there's a rat in the back seat and one says, "Wow, look all around you. There's nothing but Democrats here."
No, I have not seen that. But that's what we got to deal with. You know, all of a sudden, like it's 2019, right?
Yeah.
And just this year, we all found out that the inner cities are falling apart. What's up with that? I mean,
well, it finally takes somebody willing to speak the truth to do it, and that happened to be Trump at this point. And whether he did it because he was mad at Elijah Cummings, probably, because he probably didn't like the way Elijah Cummings treated, not only the Trump campaign, but the secretary, McLean, whatever, the DHS secretary.
DHS, McCleary.
Yeah, McCleary. Treating him that badly, and Trump stands up for him and says, you know what, don't be abusive. Go back and look at your own abusive behavior.
Gary, pop quiz. How many corrupt administrations in the last 5 years in Baltimore?
All of them.
There you go. We have an answer. Now, more technically, 3.
Last 50 years, right?
Well, no, in the last few years.
There have been 3?
3, yes, that have gone to jail.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, the one who printed the book and demanded that everybody buy them, and it was campaign fund money that printed it. I think that's the way it worked. I don't want to confuse that with Sharpton, who donated sold his book rights for $900,000 to his campaign so they could sell them. But in this case, there was during the riots, the woman who had encouraged the riots.
Right.
Remember? Told the police
we have to
stand.
give them space. That's what she said.
Give them space to burn the place down.
Express themselves.
Well, maybe she was onto something. If the city is that bad, maybe they need to burn down all the bad, empty buildings so they can clear it and then go get rebuilding again.
Well, it's that attitude that leads to de Blasio and the police getting hosed, with canisters of water
I tell you what,
that's disgusting.
That irritates me.
We'll have to see how it goes, but I understand that there's a movement. August 5th, people are going to converge on Baltimore and see if they can clean up the place a bit. I've heard that hundreds of people have signed up, but the problem is, what are they going to do with the trash once they collect it? They have to have a way of getting it out of the city.
Janice Daniels wants to have another Tea Party convention, and we know that when you have a Tea Party convention, the Tea Partiers always leave the place cleaner than when they found it.